You wake up clinging to a flower that is swaying beneath your feet. Your body is all wrong. You weigh less than a raindrop. You have 5 eyes. And the dull garden a human saw a moment ago is now covered in glowing ultraviolet targets, each one pointing straight at food. The flower under your feet carries a faint electric charge, and you can feel it humming through the hairs on your legs. You have only a few weeks to live, and the work has already started. Hold on to that electric hum because it's the strangest thing about being you. And by the end, you'll find out it was never just you reading the garden. The garden was reading you back. But first, you have a job to do. Let's start with who you are. You're female, almost every bee is. The few males don't gather food, don't build, don't even have a stinger. But you have a career. In fact, you've had several, and your body has been promoting you through all of them in the span of a few short weeks. You started in the dark, as a nurse feeding babies. Then a builder, sweating wax from your own body to raise the comb. Then a guard at the door. And today your body handed you the last and most dangerous job of all, forager, and pushed you out into the open air. You didn't choose it. Your age chose it for you, and the hive you're feeding isn't really a place. It's a single enormous body made of tens of thousands of your sisters, and you are one small, spendable cell in it, sent out to bring back food before your few weeks run out. So you fly, and the world out here is nothing like the one people see. Those 5 eyes, 2 huge ones built from thousands of tiny lenses, plus 3 simple eyes on the top of your head, are tuned to catch the faintest flicker of motion. And you see in ultraviolet. You can't see red at all. To you it's basically black. But that plain yellow flower a human strolls past. To you it's on fire. Hidden in its petals, in a color we can't perceive, is a glowing bullseye. A landing strip the flower painted onto itself, aimed at the exact spot where the nectar waits. The whole meadow is lit up like a runway at night, and every sign is pointing you toward food. But light is only half of what you're reading. As you drop toward a bloom, the fine hairs covering your body bend, because flowers are faintly electric, and so are you. And here's the part that matters when you're racing the clock. When another bee lands on a flower and drains it, she leaves its electric charge changed for a little while after. So you can feel, before you even touch down, that a flower has already been robbed. You pull up and swerve to the next bloom without landing. No sense knocking on a door another bee already cleaned out. You have too few trips left to waste one. You settle onto a full flower and get to work, and pollen dusts your entire body. You comb it down into the baskets on your back legs with quick, practiced strokes, and before you've even finished cleaning your face, the next flower dumps a fresh load right back onto you. You are going to spend a good part of your life covered in the stuff. It's a mess. It is also entirely by accident how you end up pollinating nearly a third of everything humans eat. Your baskets are full, and now you have a new problem. This patch is rich, and your sisters need to know exactly where it is. So you fly home and tell them, without a sound, in total darkness, by dancing. On the vertical wall of the comb, you run in a straight line and waggle your whole body, then loop back and do it again. That run is a map. The angle you waggle, measured from straight up, is the exact angle they must fly relative to the sun. And how long you waggle tells them how far, about 1 second of waggling for every kilometer out. Read that again. You are handing your sisters turn-by-turn directions, bearing and distance, by twerking on a wall in the pitch dark. A human scientist won a Nobel Prize just for working out that this was what you'd been saying the whole time. And the brain doing all of this, the maps, the math, the memory of which flowers you already emptied, is smaller than a grain of rice, with fewer than 1 million neurons. A human has 86 billion. And yet you can count. You can learn patterns. You can recognize individual human faces, which means the bee at your window could, in principle, pick you out of a police lineup. You even understand 0. You treat nothing as a number you can line up against 1 and 2, a concept our own species took thousands of years to invent. All of it running on a brain you could balance on the head of a pin. Back inside, thousands of you are holding the hive at a steady 35 degrees Celsius, nearly human body temperature. No matter what the weather does outside, too cold, and you shiver your flight muscles to pump out heat. Too hot, and you fan your wings and spread droplets of water to air condition the place. A living thermostat built entirely out of bodies. And this whole relentless operation exists to make one thing: honey. So here's the number that should stop you. In your entire life, every flower, every flight, every drop you ever carry, you personally will make about 1/12 of a teaspoon of it. That's all. The jar sitting in a human's kitchen isn't the work of a few busy bees. It is thousands of complete lifetimes, gathered 1/12 of a teaspoon at a time. And once in a while, all of you have to make a single decision together. And the way you do it looks eerily like a vote. When the hive grows too crowded, half of you pour out with the old queen and hang in a great trembling cluster, while a few hundred scouts go house hunting. Each scout inspects a possible new home and flies back to campaign for it by dancing. And the better the sight, the longer and harder she dances for it. More scouts visit the best option, and more until enough of them, around 15, are all dancing for the very same spot. That's the vote passing, and only then does the whole swarm lift off at once and fly to a home most of them have never laid eyes on. No leader, no boss. Just thousands of tiny votes adding up to one remarkably good decision. And if that home is ever truly threatened, you carry one last weapon, and using it will kill you. Your stinger isn't a smooth needle like a wasp's, it's barbed like a harpoon. Drive it into a threat and it anchors there, and when you pull away, it doesn't come with you. It tears out of your own body, taking part of your insides with it. But it keeps working without you. The torn loose venom sac goes on pumping poison into the wound all by itself, while it releases a scent, an alarm that smells of all things like banana, screaming to every sister in the hive to swarm the exact same spot. You don't sting to survive, you sting to die on purpose so the hive can live. And that brings us back to the electric hum you felt at dawn, the thing I told you to hold on to, because it turns out you were never just reading the garden. Every single time you land, your own charge alters the flower's electric field and leaves a mark on it. A fresh message the next bee will read as already visited. The flowers are a shared notice board, and you and your sisters are writing on them all day long. And it may go further still. Scientists have found evidence that a flower can detect the faint electric field of a bee drawing near. That the flower, in its own slow way, senses you coming. The signal was never one way. You weren't eavesdropping on the garden, you were having a conversation with it. And then it's over. You are human again. Tomorrow another bee will drift past your window and vanish into an ordinary-looking garden, and you'll barely glance at her. But now you know what she's doing in there. Reading glowing signs you cannot see. Feeling for the electric fingerprints of every bee that came before her. Handing out directions in a language made of dance. Doing math we assumed needed a far bigger brain, and carrying home 1/12 of a teaspoon of a life. Ordinary is only ever what that garden looks like when you can't read its signals, and can't feel it quietly reading you.